Let me know. Yay. Everybody, thanks for being here. This is amazing. I love this collaboration we've got going on. The feedback's been really, really good. And I feel like today, I know for sure today is going to be bringing huge value. We have a top team. There's a reason why these three teams are all together. It's because you all are each top agents, top teams, big thinkers, not living inside the box. And I love that. And be watching their social media. That's really good on Lee's team and Chris's team and what we're doing. So I want to introduce a really good friend. Carly, if you could zoom in to just Chris and I for now, that would be great. So people can see our friend Chris.
Oops. Does that work?
What you do is you hit the view button and then do speaker view. Maybe I don't know, Burnett can't get in there because she's on Craig's. We're on Craig's. I think you do.
I think Craig might have to do it since it's Craig's Zoom.
Oh,
He's
oh
the
yeah,
owner.
that makes sense. So tell him what to do, Bernadette, because you know better than me, if you don't mind.
You're gonna want to spotlight Shelly and Chris. So you go to the top right corner and you can there's a little drop down menu and you can hit spotlight.
Mine doesn't say spotlight. Mine says multi-speaker speaker.
Well, you're also not the owner of the Zoom. Craig's
Oh,
the
that's why. Okay, got it.
so it has to be the owner that does it.
Got it. Okay. Sorry, guys. We're going to get there. Just 1 second.
It doesn't say spotlight. Speaker gallery, multiple speaker, immersive.
Multi-speaker. Try multi-speaker.
That's what it's on.
Hmm.
Yours might be set up different than Shelly's too, Craig.
Okay.
Just try speaker, Craig, and see if that works.
That's it.
Interesting. Okay, maybe because mine's set up a little bit different. Okay, we'll make this work.
You want this or multi?
Okay, I have an idea. So what you guys can do is go to your Zooms if you're on Zoom and pick speaker.
Yeah.
Multi-speaker. And that way anybody on Zoom can see it better. You guys doing that? Perfect. Is that better? Okay, good. All right. So I want to introduce Chris Fritch. He is the founder of the Chris Fritch team, him and Peggy. His wife's amazing. If you've ever met her, we call her Muffy. That's her endearing name that she's been given for most of their marriage, I believe. And everybody calls her that. So except for me, I call her Pegs. And then Carly is his marketing director. They're joining us today. And then we have Schmitty on here, who has been a longtime team member and top producer. And they're all going to share a little bit about what it is that makes them super successful. So Carly, would you mind sharing the slide deck?
Yes. 1 second.
I hope we can see this. Okay. Can everybody see the slide deck? Good. Okay, perfect. That works. Okay, good. All right. All right, so this is Chris, and he is part of EXP. He's also a part of Farm and Ranch, and also a part of Luxury and EXP. Him and his team. So those are all really good resources and tools that he has for his team. And we have the Luxury, I believe. I know that Lee Tessier has the Luxury as well. You can go to the next slide, Carly. So, Chris, I wanted you to share a little bit about your team, how the year was last year, some of the things that you were able to accomplish together, and some of the struggles along the way, and how you all overcame those struggles, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. Obviously, the last 3 years have been pretty tough in real estate, and the start of last year was horrible for us. We started out, I think we had probably 6 closings in January for a team that had a goal of, I wanted to do at least what we did the year before, and that was 148 transactions or something like that. And by the time we hit June, it looked like we weren't even going to hit that. So we needed to dig deep and get back to the basics, so to speak, get back to those lead sources like your Sphere, those types of things. And with that, we had a very strong finish to the year. We finished at 198, not where we wanted to end up, but much better than I thought we were going to be at mid-year. So.
Yeah, I remember talking to you at the beginning of the year and talking that through with you and the struggle with that. So would you mind sharing like the last quarter, like the last, like, so third quarter would look like what? Like, what did you all do specifically in third quarter that made the big difference?
A lot of team collaboration. We trained everybody up. Really got after the open houses. A lot of our agents are holding 4 to 5 opens a week. So that's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday 2, Sunday 2. And you don't need to hold them open for 3 or 4 hours.
Later.
You can hold them open for an hour at a time, or an hour and a half, or 2 hours. That's normally what we do, is split it up by 2-hour increments, 11 to 1 and 2 to 4. And also just digging into our sphere, getting a hold of the people that know and love you, and not so much begging, but just being in
Kevin, can you mute Melanie, please?
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Sorry about that, Chris. Let's keep everybody muted. If you have your mics open, mute your mics. That way we don't have interference.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yep. So that's what we did. Just double down on, or you could say 10x to everything. I know that's kind of a big deal these days, but yeah, that's primarily what we did. Yeah.
So you got everybody on board. I know that also Tony Rusher joined your team. I think that was probably in the summertime of last year. So you, in the good energy, you had some really good agent energy on the team from what I could tell, like with Jason and Schmitty. And I don't know all your team members. I know Sherry's like instrumental as your TC, very involved, very proactive with helping the team stay structured and stay involved. I've been fortunate enough to be around these teams in person and gotten to know some of their team members on a personal level. And I love getting to meet your team and spend time with them. And we all have our struggles. Everybody does. Personally, I know Carly's had one of the toughest years of her life, but she shows up, smiles, and keeps rolling and pushing. We all have those times, but I really appreciate you, the authenticity of that, Chris, and sharing. So what did last quarter look like for you? I remember you being at my house because we're involved in a group called Inner Circle here with Brent Gove. And I remember you being at my house and talking about some of the things that were going on. Would you mind sharing about the end of the year?
Yeah, I when you have like somebody that's as integral to the team, an integral part of the team as Carly is, and then she has her own personal things going on. It was a little more of a struggle, but I mean, the gamer that she is, obviously she worked through that, worked when she was out of the office, doing what she had to do. And we got through it and got together as a team, covered her when we needed to. And yeah, it was a tough go, but I think in the end, it just showed perseverance and what we needed to do to make it happen. And everybody bailed in as a team. It wasn't just one person; it was everybody.
Right. I'm specifically talking about you have 46 closings in November and December. How'd that happen?
Just digging deep and keeping going on all the basics, basically, just
nothing sexy, nothing sexy, just full momentum. And it's interesting. We talk about like pushing a ball up a hill, right? It's very, very, very hard to push that ball, but I can feel the momentum of your team right now. It's massive.
Yep.
So I love the energy. I love that everyone's like really excited. Everybody's got that vision of where you're headed. And your last 2 months with closing 46 deals in the hardest time of the year. Last year, some people didn't even sell a home last year, let alone a team selling 46 closings in 2 months during the hardest time of the year. And December was your largest closing month, which is incredible. That's why I'm like hyper focused on this, because you could have just said, you know what, we're not going to hit that goal. This is just a bad year. No, you didn't do that. You took the bull by the horns and you said, let's move forward. Like someone had to lead that charge, and I'm interested in that, because I think a lot of you're being humble right now. You guys are being humble, but I think that someone taking the charge on like this, there's no excuses. Like I remember you being angry, Chris. I remember us talking about you were angry, frustrated, and what's funny about Chris is I know him really, really well, because we've hunted together, we've gone through tough stuff together, family problems, stuff like that. And you called me up angry, and I was like, I was a little bit like, I didn't know how to help you. I was a little bit, you know, because I'm not involved in your business on that level, but I love the fact, the passion behind it is it wasn't good enough and you weren't going to let it not be good enough. And that was something I really was like, wow, this is amazing. And then to see the turnaround from where you were to where you are and the full momentum going into this spring, what would you tell a team right now? A team, because we got a lot of team agents on this call. What would you tell an agent right now that you'd say, you know what, this is what you got to do? What would be like the top three things you tell an agent right now?
Well, the biggest things, I guess, one, to identify uh, what their niche is. You know, if it's open houses, or is it being on the phone? Is it door knocking? Is it social media? You know, try to find those buckets and don't try to do everything. Hyper focus on what you're good at. And then find that fire in your belly. Everybody's here for a reason. You know, there's two things you can do. You can roll over and play dead, or you can dig deep and find that fire that you need to succeed. And when in doing that, you start to see the results, and it just compounds from there.
It does, doesn't it? It's like that pushing that first push, it kind of could feel a little defeating, and you could have stopped. You could have said it's summertime. I mean, this did not start in April or February or March. This was like, I remember you feeling this in June. And you're like, you could just slow down, but you didn't. You put fire to the fuel. It took 1,000% energy. So I'm writing these things down. I don't know if you guys are writing things down, but the only way to really get your brain to really take hold of these things is to write them down. We're going to send you guys the transcript and summary of this call and the recording. But when you write it down, it's like I wrote down hyper focus, fire in your belly. You took their superpower, their niche, if you will. You 10x that, and then you got the fire to succeed. There was like no excuses. So, what I'm really excited about this year is I feel like all of the teams and all the agents on this call have the opportunity right now to grab that and the momentum. And with what we're doing with all this collaboration is just going to push the momentum of what we're doing. So those are the things I wrote down. I wanted to share that I love this slide because Brent's calling me, but he's on no idea where he is. But I wanted to share this slide with you guys and show these numbers to you because you know, they ended up number 3 in all of the XP Minnesota teams, closed volume number 4, closed in December. They just took the bull by the horn. So we can do that. Their market's actually maybe a little tougher than ours. If you have ever been to Minneapolis or Minnesota, the city is struggling. I mean, is it not, Chris?
Yeah, Minneapolis is upside down right now, and it's unfortunate, but
There's a lot of
we
opportunity
focus
there.
on the good things and what Minnesota has to offer. Not
Right.
let's focus on what's going on and what's not right with this world, and especially with Minneapolis right now. But yeah, we just focus on the good things and because there's so many things that Minnesota
Amazing.
offer in the surrounding suburbs. It's a beautiful state and great place to live.
It really is. It's a great place to raise a family. The city itself, but if you could focus on that. If you went downtown, like I've been to dinner with him at the beautiful restaurant we went to, and I was like, wow, this is empty. Like these buildings are empty. That would scare a lot of people
Right.
if they were thinking about being a realtor in a town where the high rise, like our office, you could take what we pay for our office, you could buy a whole top floor of a big building or rent it for about the same cost in downtown Minneapolis. That's how scarce it is down there. Like something that would cost $200 a square foot, you could probably rent for a normal price. I'm only sharing that because we can always get in our head with reasons why not. But we live in a city. Charlotte is a very, very robust city. It's numbers like it's high ranking top 5, 10 in the country of people moving to it. California, I would hate to be in some other areas of the country. But even with that, where it's tougher, you took it by the horn and you have like he said, it's beautiful there. I love where they live. It's absolutely gorgeous. But the downtown area could scare people. So, and not that it's bad or scary, it's just that it's empty. It was weird, that it was so empty. It was shocking. And Artemisa showed me that too, when she was driving me around. Chris, I don't know if you weren't with us that day, but I wanted to share that because we live in Maryland's amazing because we've got the government, you've got government jobs, you're kind of insulated with job opportunities. So I think, it's there for whoever wants it is really the bottom line of that. Let's go to the next slide, Carly. We kind of talked about this. This is kind of motivation. What motivation, actions taken? I know you said open houses. Is there anything else you could think of that we should be sharing with each agent on this call?
Um, no, basically what it says, just staying motivated. And I think the best way to motivate yourself is to track it so you can see where your successes are. When you're seeing, I'm making so many phone calls and I have this many connections and I've converted these into appointments and these into contracts. If you follow that, you can you can identify exactly your structure as far as where you're going to end up at the end of the year. If you do those things over and over again, you can pinpoint it and know exactly where you're going to be. But you have to track it. Absolutely have to track it to know exactly where you're at. Just making phone calls and not knowing where you're at doesn't work. You may get appointments and stuff off that, but if you don't realize what your efforts are and what your rewards are from those efforts, it's hard to identify it. And when you do identify it, it's a lot easier to do it, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
I love that. One of the things I know that your team is really good at, I believe, would you mind sharing like what a week looks like? You have your team meetings, you have your scripting days, and share a little bit about what that looks like for your team a week.
Well, our team meetings just start as wins. We always start with those for the week. From the past week, what were the wins? We always ask everybody on the team, what those things are, and it may be I set 3 appointments, or I wrote 4 contracts, or I just had, and it could be something personal too, whatever it may be. But we do celebrate those wins every week. We also get into any changes in the market that we need to bring up to the whole team. Also, we schedule open houses, and we usually at that meeting will normally schedule anywhere from 16 to 24 open houses for the following week and weekend. And the agents select where they want to be and where they want to go for those opens, and just kind of go from there. Yeah.
And then you on your days where you guys do scripting, what does that look like? It's new agents coming in, scripting, but it's not just scripting, it's making phone calls, outbound calls, right? And then people are listening so you can hear where the gaps are potentially. Am I right on that?
Right. Yeah. So we use those opportunities not to criticize, but to build stronger. And, everybody, when you make phone calls and things like that, and everybody goofs up. I still do. And I'm 39 years. So it's something that always is going to make you better. So yeah, when we do our scripting and we script amongst the agents, and maybe there's something that came up that was very difficult to overcome. And with more of our experienced agents and whatnot, we can show the newer agents how to script around that and just how to be better and how to answer that professionally and with purpose. So
right. I love the word with purpose, because sometimes I think we if we slow down when we do those phone calls, the scripting calls, or the phone calls we're talking to someone, you just listen. And like Kevin always says, come up with a question and have like a list of questions beside you could kind of like defer to. There's a lot of opportunities. And then it also gets you in the habit of actually, like if you did one day a week where you went in and made 30 phone calls, you're going to get a result out of that. Do you think they feel like that was an instrumental part of the success of what you guys were able to accomplish at the end of the year? Just being super intentional?
absolutely. That was one part of it for sure. Yes, absolutely.
How important do you feel connection is with people? Like what's your intentionality with that?
Connection with clients or past clients or
And like say that I'm a brand new agent, or I'm an agent that has got done some business, like Danny. I can see him on this call, so I'm going to pick on you. You're at the top of my screen. Like say Danny, for instance, he's done some sales, he's been in the business for a little bit of time now, and I know that he's calling and doing the things. He's very focused. How would that, those calls, like having those 2 days a week or 3 days a week or however many days a week it is that you have your team doing these calls, how important do you think that is for like the percentage of success that agent has, or getting with someone of influence? Or like Jean, remember when Jean was talking about our buckets? Talk a little bit about how all that kind of ties together with what y'all are doing, if you don't mind.
Well, I think your best lead sources are the people that you've done business with and you're already proven. So staying in front of them after the sale, stopping by, doing a pop by, seeing how it's going in their house. Are they content with everything? Finding out just how much they love it, and that's when you take it from there and you stay in contact with those people that you've done business with and you're already proven. It's pretty easy for them to refer business as well. So staying top of mind is key, and that's not just with past clients, but it's with your sphere and people that know and love you are going to refer business. So the key is to stay on top of mind with them.
Do you take when you do like the Popeyes and things like that, do y'all do Google reviews? Like what is your process with that?
Yes, that we do Google reviews. It's something we have to get better at. We're always struggling to get those reviews. I know Lee's team does a fantastic job with it, and we have to step that up a little bit. But when we do Popeyes and things like that, we always leave something with them, give them something that, maybe it's a closing gift or we've got some of our agents bring cookies and donuts and muffins or just something personal with that client. We've got some of our agents on our team are extremely good at it, doing that, and they get a lot of business from it.
Shelley,
I would think so.
Shelley, can we interrupt and ask a question?
Yeah, please. I love it. Yes.
I was just asking my team, like, hey, as we're talking through this, what are some of the questions they have? And probably everybody else does too. Because you focus so largely on open houses, is there particular marketing that you're doing around them? And is there a particular way you guys are handling them to get the most out of them? Right? Is that
Yeah, like at the actual open house, is there something that you guys do specifically that you've had success with? Like outside, well, I mean the marketing also, but like once you're there, is like signage or like what have you done in the open houses that you think has kind of set you apart and led to success?
Well, yeah, so when we do open houses, we don't want to just be there at the house. The open house signs are important. We don't just put out 2 or 3. We like to put out 10 to 12, sometimes up to 20. It depends on which areas you're in to get people to that open house. Then also, Carly does a fantastic job of marketing those open houses on social media. And our team also, and this is a big part of what Carly does, is get people out of their comfort zone. Do videos when you're there at the open house, inviting people there, tell them about what you're doing, maybe some specifics about the house. And those are just triggers to get people in their car to come out and see you. So when we do open houses, we do it with a lot of purpose.
Chris, are you doing them certain times of the week too? And is this new construction or resale?
So it's both, Lee. It's we have 2 builders that we rep. We have probably 6 different locations that we're in, anywhere from single family detached townhomes, villas, to single family homes up to custom homes, those types of things. So we're all over the board with that. And our existing houses, yes, there's some houses that are going to be better to hold open than others. Every agent knows that, and you want to be in the high traffic areas if you can. But the biggest thing I think that we do is to diversify those open houses. So don't just do one from noon to 4. That's my open house, and because the amount of marketing that we do, they're going to come to those times that you're open, whether it's 11 to 1 or 2 to 4, but get in different price ranges, get in different areas, do different things. So you're not focused on one market, you're focused on several different markets, and you get your fingers into different areas, which has been a big help. Because we used to do 3-hour open houses. New construction, we do that because it's a product more than an existing house. People stop in and we're doing bids, or we're designing or doing stuff like that with people that are stopping by and with questions. Can we build this house? Can we do this to it? Can we add the garage? Can we add square footage? How can we customize it? So those are normally a little bit longer for the new construction, but the existing houses, I don't believe that you need to hold them over 2 hours, I think, is a waste of time for you and your sellers.
How about any particular day that you're seeing better traffic on?
Not necessarily. I can tell you that where we are seeing a lot of success, when especially in high traffic areas, is our during the week open houses that are like from 4 to 6. Catch people on the way home, commuting back home from work. Those are, it has to be the right area, but can really produce high numbers. And we've seen a lot of success from that as well, not just weekends.
Are you doing anything special at them, or are they just a standard open house? Come see it while it's open. You're doing your social media posts, you're doing video, and of course in the MLS and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. And with the social media stuff, yeah, Carly does a great job of blowing that up, getting the exposure that we need, and training our agents to do their own thing as well, with their own video and their own marketing. She helps everybody with that, but that definitely does help, and it does get them in front of other people that they collaborate with over social media. So yeah, those are the best things. And yes, Lee, to answer your question, we do focus on getting names and phone numbers and whatnot, just so we can follow up.
Are you using any platform specific for that, or is it just still through Brevity or to collect?
The agents will print a little feedback sheet, and they just leave it on the counter. And what I've seen is they're not pushy, like please sign in. It's just have a conversation, have the client or the person at the open tour the home, and then have a conversation about the house. What did you think? When are you looking to make a move? Oh, could you please sign in? So they're never pushy right away. Once that person's walking in the door, it's come in, tour, and then sign in.
Paper, sign in, paper, pen.
Yep, old school.
Yep, and then it's converted, Lee, into our system.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if you're doing paper or doing electronic format or not.
A few of them do electronic, but most do paper.
I heard something interesting recently about open houses, that like a busy agent on like a Monday, like say that Reed did an open house on Friday, Saturday, like there was 4 of them, and he's so busy with like the hot leads, that he may like have like a newer agent assist him in calling, and then do like a little fee to that person to help them, and it helps him be able to get more deals. So that's like a good way for a new agent to kind of assist an experienced agent who's doing open houses, and also the experienced agent to leverage some of that time. So I thought that was really a smart idea. To build confidence. So, because you know how you got your hot ones, I've had open houses where I've had 30 people come through, and then I can't call all 30 on Monday. If I do, I stop at like 5, because then I'm sending information. You know how you get bombarded with all the follow-up part, and then it kind of like helps with that, and it helps the newer agent get some experience too, and listen to that, like kind of find a partner that you like, that you guys get along, and you feel like you could support and help each other. I think that's a really good way for newer agents to kind of get some leverage too.
Absolutely. The biggest thing we found most success too, and we have some of our more experienced agents that are unbelievably good at open houses. They're just approachable. They get a lot of different buyers and sellers from those opens, just because they are in that open. So I strongly advise any of those new agents, follow those people, shadow those people in their open houses, because it's so important. Because just what they call rip off and duplicate, it's a little R&D, but do what they're doing. And you can just shadow them to see how they're answering questions and how they're bringing people into conversation versus trying to just shove a house down their throat and say, buy this thing, but just please sign here, because people can smell that pretty easy. So you want to just make sure that you're organic in your presentation. And we've got some agents here that are extremely good at it. So all of our new agents, we have shadow for sure.
I love that.
I got another question that would help, I think, our agents. I know probably Shelley's agents too, is like, you have a good new construction background. And I would say to the agents on the team, how do you recommend for them to approach a builder, and what should they go giving to try to get business from that builder or listings from them?
We actually have a slide specifically for that one because I knew that was important to your team. We added that, Carly added that in for us. And I really want to dive deep on the builder side because our team wants it too. I know that. Is that okay if we wait, Lee, on that one? Okay. Carly, would you mind playing your video real fast for us? And I'm definitely gonna hit that, Lee, I promise.
Welcome to Minnesota Life Beyond the Sale. Let's get started. It's every cabin, every home, every lake. It's not just property, it's somebody's story. Here we are at the St. Jude Walk Run. One step, $1 at a time.
So we never paid a bill the entire time Dylan was at St. Jude.
Before, it's as close to a no-brainer as we've ever run into. Here in Minnesota, we're all about hunting, fishing, and outdoors. So why not celebrate that while raising money for a cause that matters? We really appreciate that. You guys did a heck of a job. All in support of St. Jude.
We committed to Dylan that we would start a foundation.
This is probably my favorite part. Let's go check it out.
I love that video that you did. Chris, would you mind elaborating on like kind of how you got there?
Well, yeah. So this
It started in Cabo behind the bush. Just kidding.
Yeah. So before Carly and whatnot, I never did any video. I had two posts on my Instagram, one with that was about 5 years old with one of my old assistants, and another one with my daughter holding two $250 pull tabs. And I just didn't do any social media whatsoever. And at my age, and being as long as I have been in the business, I'm not young and pretty and an influencer or anything like that. But when Shelly, we actually were down in Cabo, and she's like trying to break me out of the shell and whatnot. So she said, come here, I got to talk to you. So I'm in my swimsuit, and we're just at the pool, and she go around behind the bush, and all of a sudden a videographer jumps out, and she goes, so we're going to do a quick video. And I'm like, oh my God. But so getting away from, trying to be perfect and trying to, just overthink it, that's what's much more important is just to do it. And bringing Carly on, somebody that really understands social media and does those types of things, and she's very good at production and whatnot. So she just tells me basically when I'm doing a video, what I'm saying, those types of things. This particular show, we were invited. There's 80 agents that were interviewed here in Minnesota, and there's different parts to this, but what it was originally started, it was a 5-minute presentation, and they show it on different streaming networks and whatnot. And when we left, by the time we got back to our office, we'd already gotten a call from the owner of the show that he said, we have this line program, and I'd really want you to do that. And it's a half-hour TV show that comes out probably bi-monthly. We've just done our first show, and it's going to launch tomorrow. We're having a launch party tomorrow, and it has to do with a lot. It's not a ton about real estate. It's about what we do and how we impact our community and what we bring to it, and what our hearts are near and dear to. And with saying that, yes, there are some parts of real estate in it, and we can post that. It'll be on our YouTube channel tomorrow. Carly can post that, so if any of you guys want to watch it, you can see what we do. But a big thing that I guess that our team is centered around is community and giving back. We do give back.
Carly.
Yeah, so out of every closing, and it's in our team contracts, that out of every closing we donate $100 in our client's name to St. Jude and the Dylan Witchen Foundation. So last year we raised 86,000. I think the most we've ever raised was 127,000. So we're going to go above $800,000 this year that we've done in the last 8 years as a team. So it's a big deal. My goal was always to hit over 1 million, and it was a lofty goal when we first started this. And we signed a contract with St. Jude that you had to raise, $10,000. That was your minimum. You signed a contract. If you don't raise it, you pay it. So we had to get together. Okay, how are we going to do this? This is crazy. But, in our first year, we did like 27,000. We blew that up, and they keep raising that. So, which is good. Yeah, it's a good thing. And we are the presenting sponsor for the St. Jude Walk and Run here in Minnesota. And we do a lot of things with it. So the show is designed around that, just to show community involvement and to get people excited about our passion as well, in the community. When we have events, a lot of people show up. It's not hard to get people there, whether it's a golf event or a sporting clays event or our bingo event. We fill that with clients, and that's a kid-friendly event. So there's a lot of different ways we use this. And the biggest thing is to give back to the community, and the business just follows. It just happens. That's not why we're there to do this, but it's a great way to generate business so we can give back even more to the cause.
Would you mind sharing a little bit about Dylan, like how that kind of came about? Like, how did you find your passion and your team's passion and get everyone rallied behind this cause? I mean, I know once you hear it, and what St. Jude's an amazing foundation and group, what was like how did you all come up with that?
Well, as a team, we were talking about what we're going to do. How can we give back to the community, in a big way? And we looked at many different types of charities, and we had some good friends here that their son passed away his junior year. He took a hit in football and had a seizure, and they thought maybe it was just a stinger, but they wanted to bring him in and found out that he had a brain tumor, and they decided to doctor down at St. Jude, and they started a foundation. And when you guys watch the show, you'll be able to see it. His mom talks about it. It's, pre-warning, it's pretty emotional, but I guess the main reason when we're sitting there talking about it, all of our kids went to school together, but Schmitty brought it up because he's very good friends as well with the Witchens, and he said, why don't we see if we can get together with the Witchens and see if we can't partner with them. And we did, and they were on board with it, and so was St. Jude. So it's a big deal for our team that it's not just something that we picked that's nationwide or something. This is very community oriented with a nationwide or worldwide draw.
Right. That's a really good point. Craig, Sue, Lee, any of the teams have any questions about that you'd like to ask or anything at all? I just want to make sure everyone's feeling included and knows they can ask questions for sure.
Great job on their golf tournament. We went up there, me and Josh played, but they got a ton. I think they had 240 players or so. They got a ton of support, which is awesome to see. So, but it's the time they put into it for the year after year after year, compound effect, amazing what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So great job, Chris.
Well, it's definitely not me. We've got Sherry for an event planner behind the scenes, and Peggy jumps in, and Carly does a great job of marketing, and the whole team participates in everything. So, and it's a place where they can invite their clients as well, and clients see that, they appreciate that, to know that you're giving back to the community and for a great cause. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just want to say great job, Chris and team. That's inspirational. Awesome job.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun, you guys. It's a lot of work behind the scenes, but when we do have those events, and it's such an uplifting event that you can't help but be happy and just love why you're there and open your checkbook up to donate to a great cause. It's obviously this isn't something that we are personally ourselves just don't donate to, because we do out of our commission checks and everything, and it's in our contracts as well, and also in our contract with our employees and our contractors is that after you're with us for a year, I fly you down to St. Jude, myself in Memphis on my dime, and you tour the hospital, see why we do what we do. And when people come back, it just changes their lives. It's it's a whole another level of understanding why we do what we do.
That's awesome. One of the things I was thinking about something with the event planning, you do some agent, like last week you had an agent get together with outside agents, not just your agents. Should you share how'd that go? And I'd love to know how you got started on that and how that went for you.
So yeah, we try to do a quarterly event. This was at a brewery in the northwest suburbs. A lot of our agents are from that area. Sherry's from that area. Tony Rusher, Emily, they're all from that area right around where that event happened. Did we get the turnout we wanted? No. But we had agents show up, but it wasn't what we expected more. But when we go back to it, it's all in the invite. It's not about who shows up. It's about the invite to let people know, especially agents, that you do care about them. And this wasn't a recruiting event by any means. It's just people getting together from all different brokerages and just hanging out and collaborating a little bit. And that was about it. So
Good. Like that. I'm trying to think about anything. Does anybody have any other questions about the events or St. Jude or what they're doing there?
How they get
Talk
started.
about inviting. So you do the invite, you do a save the date and invite, and then calling, texting, like that's how you really get people to show up.
right. And some events are going to attract more people than others, like the realtor event, because everybody knows that realtors are, as soon as they have an opportunity to go sell a house, if they've signed up for it, they're going to skip that and go do whatever they, what's going to make money, which is great. But again, that's why the invite's so important, because one, you made contact, and two, they know that you're thinking about them. When we do client events, it's kind of a no-brainer for us. It gives us a chance to touch that client as far as make a text and a phone call, an email, all those things that put us in the forefront of mind and help us raise money as well for the cause. Getting them there definitely does.
Yeah, and like you said, it has so many it's multi. People think of it's just the event, but it's multifaceted touches, and also so you're front of mind, you're memorable, you're doing something that's impacting the community. People like to rally around things that are important, and that's easy to get behind. Really, that family's amazing. So that's really, and St. Jude's amazing. So I love that you all do that. Okay, let's go move on to the next
Hold on,
one.
Shelley.
Go ahead.
Sue has a question.
Sure.
Hey, Chris, Carly, I don't know if you can hear me. You guys obviously have sponsors for these events. And I'm sure a lot of them, given your history, probably are repeat sponsors. How do you guys go about delivering a message to the sponsors to help with these events? Obviously, St. Jude, that's probably, pulls at the heartstrings and it's probably a little bit easier, but how do you guys go about getting sponsorships for these?
Well, we all work with, people that we repeatedly do business with, and it should be reciprocating, and they should jump in with some of these costs to cover some of these things, because it just helps their business too, and also gets them in front of people. Like the agent event, we had a title company there. We also had Pillar to Post. It's an inspection company. And we always invite our mortgage people as well. He was there. So, it lessens the cost, but also brings them business at the same time. So when we do events, we always have it sponsored. We're always putting money into it too, but, we can only ask for so much because of commerce and stuff, things like that. And we follow those guidelines, but it's very important to have those people involved as well. And they do bring people too. So it doesn't just put it all on your team, it puts it on them as well. So.
And when we have a sponsor, we create a media kit that we send to the sponsor. So we create the graphics for social media for them. It's already done. It has their logo on it. The media kit has a copy paste email blast that they can send out, copy paste caption for social media. So we're just giving them the tools that they can invite people to the event as well.
I like that. I think that's a great point, because it it's different audiences, and different people listen to different people. So if you have multiple audiences and different people sending things out, the message coming from, maybe us or the team might come across different than if your lender sent it to them. So you're expanding your audience for sure. I think that's a great point.
Yeah, we do them with purpose, you guys. We don't just put it out there. When we do it, everybody leaves with something. When we did our last event, there were gift bags that went with it. Not so much EXP focused, but like Gene's book here. We gave everybody that was there one of these books. It's just it's great. It's a great way to spike maybe something that you've already thought of, but it's in here. There's places to put notes and just different ways. There's 101 different ways to lead generate out of this book, and everybody can find some nuggets out of there that are going to be purposeful. So everybody that was there left with one of these books, and every time I'd meet with an agent, I give them one of these books as well. So
Good. Thanks for that. Let's go to the next slide. We could. Chris, when you're here, you should get Gene to sign some of those books for you.
Absolutely, for sure.
For some specific agents.
Yep.
We talked a little bit about team meeting structure and all of those things. What anything we should be adding to that, Chris?
I think one-on-ones are very important to really dive in with the agents personally, where they're at themselves, where they're more apt to talk about their struggles and some of their wins, and when it's one-on-one versus in front of the whole team. And if they are struggling somewhere, we can really dive into that. And if they're doing something extremely well, we can help them expand that as well at that same time. Our EOS meetings with leadership, we have 5 people on our leadership team that we meet every Thursday morning at 8 o'clock, and it's an hour meeting. It's very structured. We go over our big rocks and the things that we need to accomplish as leadership, and places where if we are struggling, it's kind of like a one-on-one for the leadership, in one aspect, because without doing that, you're not thinking of those things, and you're not taking care of the things that need to be taken care of. You can always push those things off or find a way to do it. But when you have 5 people in a room and you're held accountable to those things, you have to show up the next week or the following quarter with those things completed, because those goals are always set in those meetings for the year. And those are the big rocks that we've got to complete.
That's helpful. Thank you. Anybody have questions? Lee, Craig, Sue, anybody on the teams that want to have any ideas, share what's valuable to you?
Now we've been using the EOS meetings on and off for 5 years, I guess, 4 or 5 years. So I think it's definitely helpful. One-on-ones are super important too.
Right.
So.
Very good. Cool. Anybody, I know Lee did goal setting for our team, and you guys did all your goals, and we're halfway through we're more than halfway through January already. And I think now's the time we have to kind of gather back together and hit it again, because we put those goals together before Christmas, and then January comes and everybody's well intended, but kind of getting back and not falling into the rut of doing the activities instead of doing the things that actually move the needle for the business. I think it's easy to fall into being a taskmaster. I think that we hide behind that as agents, rather than making those calls and calling the right people, not just calling a person. So intentionality, all of that is really important right now. So I love that we're doing this meeting today. Okay, Carly, next one. Lead generation, business growth strategies. We're going to talk a little bit about this. I know we went over some of this, but any more in depth about lead gen strategies, things you're doing that are working, things that you're finding the agents are having success at, something specific?
Well, everything that's mentioned there, we have agents that are very good in all those different areas. It's just, leveling up what makes you successful. Like, if you have somebody that's a door knocker and is a belly to belly person, they're probably not going to be the best on the phone. Mm-hmm. Or you have somebody that's shy that's really, you know, it's like, gosh, I don't know, I really don't want to be in front of somebody or knock on their door, or maybe they're going to be better on the phone. They can come, you know, it just depends on the personality, but find those things that you're good at. You know, look at this book there, because there's 101 different buckets in there. Find 3 that work for you and really chase them. You know, that's been true, you know, for the last 39 years I've been in real estate. You guys have been through 6 major shifts in the market, and we are coming out of one right now that I think is going to be the biggest real estate move since I've been in the business. So, I mean, I've been, you know, when you look back into the 80s, you know, when I got into the business, it was rates were 14%, you know, and you just had to be creative in financing those types of things. I mean, just before I got in the business, they were 19%. So could you imagine those interest rates with today's prices? And I mean, yes, I know we went through a higher interest rate, you know, 7s, maybe even touched 8, but those were still great interest rates. And you can always refinance. Obviously, you guys know this, and all your leadership has talked to you about this, trying to get people to, you know, buy the house now, so you're not paying $20,000-$30,000 over asking price in 4 or 5 months, because we're headed to that, and it's going to be busy. And there's these people are going to find that, you know, they can leave their 3% mortgage for something in the high 4s or mid 5s, and it's going to move people big time, you know. So, and all different markets. So be ready, make sure you're doing the things that you're good at, and you're focused at those things. Don't spend time doing things that, you know, I'm trying to do this and I want to get better at it. That's great. But if there's something that you are extremely good at, make sure you hyper focus there.
It's the person that has like the biggest pipeline that keeps that contact going continuously that's going to win. So like I remember when we came out of the market of 2008, a lot of you were in that market, some of you were not yet. But I remember the momentum that was building, and I can feel that right now with all of us. Having these conversations, and the more you build, the better you're going to be positioned to take that market share. So, I mean, people are definitely pent up demand. There's definitely all the things that are ready to go. And there's already houses being sold. They were sold last year and they're going to be sold this year. It's just a matter of whether we're going to get them or someone else is going to sell them. So we have to be, like you said, 10x our activities to get that result. It's all in the action, not in the, like, sometimes we can get hung up on small details that really don't move the needle. But I'm telling you, if you get in conversation, like, good things happen because your brain starts to think a little different. You get out of that rut that you're in. If you sit behind your computer in the same spot every single day, nothing is going to change. It's going to be the same result. But if you come into these meetings like you guys are doing, and let us all trying to think differently, it's going to make a massive shift in your business and your happiness and everything. I love that. Thank you for that, Chris. All right, let's go to the next slide. Okay, here we go. AI. Talk about jumping into the abyss of diving into something that is helpful but not necessarily sales. Go ahead.
Myself?
Yes, I'd love for you to talk about all these. That's great.
Well,
Or it could be Carly. Whoever wants to.
that's where we're going to go with this, because she is extremely good at it, and Jason's kind of our systems guy, and Carly's more of our technology, as far as, you know, social media and those types of things and how to drive those things. So I'll let Carly talk about AI, what we do there.
Okay, well, the question was the 3 tools that we use to get results. So the first one we wanted to share was our CRM. So we recently switched to Follow Up Boss, which the feedback we're getting is the agents love it. They're utilizing it. It tells you who to follow up with each day. So it sends you a hot sheet through your email and says you need to follow up with these contacts. Here's the calendar. It links to your Google Calendar, things like that. So that's been a game changer. And then for AI specifically, we're just using ChatGPT and Gemini right now, but there's a whole list of other AI tools that we'll be implementing this year. We're in the Carrie Sove AI solution class. So there's a lot of information there that she's posting daily about updates and how to utilize AI to get results. So we're diving into that as well. So right now we're just building the foundation using AI. So she gives homework and it's building that foundation for it to learn more about our team and to just be kind of like a VA. So we're training it to think like our team and think big. And then we're using that foundation to go to the next level with AI. So we're using it for social media, captions, listing descriptions. We put in the information and then it spits out the description, and then we're editing it to be our voice, our team's voice, versus just what AI spits out. So you always have to tweak it. And then another tip with AI is just being specific and intentional with what you're asking it. Instead of make me a social media caption, it's this is who I want to target. This is the CTA call to action that I want included. This is where I want to post it. So just being intentional of how you're utilizing AI. And then another tool that we use daily is called Veed.io, and that just it adds captions to your videos for social media. It can add B-roll to it, so AI is linked to that as well. So we use AI pretty much every single day.
Nice. I love Carrie's program. I actually spoke with her yesterday. I spent about an hour on the phone with her. I meet with her again on Friday. Excited. I loved hearing that you guys are having success with it as well. So that was really good. She's smart.
So, Shelley, I had a question. So
Sure.
the Veed.io, what does that look like? So how do you use that in CapCut? Do you use that in a specific software? What does that look like?
So
I think that would be really helpful.
yeah, that is a website and an app on your phone. So you just upload your video. It's very simple. And then it just adds the captions for you. And then you can brand them to your brand colors. And then you can do the AI option as well. Then it edits and zooms in, zooms out, adds B-roll and the captions for you. So it's an app on your phone and then also on your desktop.
Is that a paid?
We have the paid version, but they have a free version as well.
Thank you.
I like the fact that it does the in and out and all that to make it look like it's more interesting to figure out. It's good. Thanks for sharing that. Is there anything, Carly, that you would say is helpful beyond this even? Do you have anything else you want to share? Does anybody have questions about what Carly's doing and how she's helping the team? I love, I think the business planning calculators that Carrie's got and some of that stuff is really strong. I liked all that. She's sharing that with me. It's good. All right. Next slide. This goes back to what Gina was talking about on our first Zoom that we had together. Chris, you want to speak about this and what your team's doing, how you're utilizing it?
Sure. So some depends on the event that we're having, but our quarterly agent happy hours, we do those at different parts of the Twin Cities. Just so we're not hitting the same people over and over again and just wearing that invite out. Also, we offer quarterly CE classes. We have somebody come in and speak and do an hour to 3 hours of continuing education for agents. That's always an open invite to other agents. And sometimes it's here at our office where we can see 20 people. Sometimes it's in a room where we have to have 100. So we've done both of those. It all depends on the signups, and if we have to stay nimble and move to a different location, we will do that. And then as far as after a transaction, all of our agents are instructed to get in touch with the previous agent that they worked with on that transaction and set up a coffee or a conversation of some sort, and then bring them something so they can leave with something. That doesn't have to be from your team, just anything that maybe it's a great book you're reading, maybe it's this, maybe it's anything that you can think of, and if you could personalize it, that's even better. So having those conversations with that agent, maybe there's an area where they are struggling. We've got several different books that we use to give people or those types of things. But yeah,
I love all that. One of the things that we're going to work on our team is to get whoever is interested in attraction. I want to know who they are. And so Craig, Sue, and myself and April can all work together to help everybody. If that's their energy. I don't want to have people focus on that if that's not exciting to them or something they're interested in. So we're just identifying who, so we can then help them do this at a higher level. So anybody that's interested on this call, please let Sue and myself know, and then we will get you onto, we have a sheet that we're running so we can keep track of everything and help you guys. So I don't know if any of the other teams want to do that, but if we could do a call if you guys want to, where each team member, like we can collaborate on that. We don't have to do it individually. We could do it together. I would love to help you guys get whatever goals you have. We want to help you get there.
What's the best way you want them to reach out to you to get on the list? Are you,
Why don't we just give them my cell phone number, Lee? Do you mind doing that? And then just text me and say, hey, I'm interested, and I'll make sure we get on the list. I need their phone number and email because I'm going to email some assets to be helpful to them. And then
you
I'll,
want to say it now so everybody hears it, everybody that's on the call that's interested in this? Because I think all of our teams probably wouldn't be a bad thing for Chris's and ours.
yeah, I would love to do that. And we could do like a bi-weekly meeting if you guys want to. That way we can kind of just do a quick 30-minute. I can share what's happening and help you guys get where you want to go with attraction.
So what's your cell?
704-609-8077. I'll drop it in the chat real quick.
704-609-8077.
Yes, sir.
Everybody get that? I need that. Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm excited. You guys, this is such a good, like what Jean said, such a good opportunity. And right now, the organization's growing like crazy. I can see the numbers going up. Craig and I can see them, and Bernadette, and it's really exciting time right now for everybody. So if you guys are interested, we can make it super simple and make this not difficult. Just add an add-on to your business. And we don't have to meet every other week, but maybe we should just do one first meeting so that we can kind of get a roadmap laid for you. Okay. Good. Okay. All right. Next. Here you go. Right, you got this, Chris.
Well, so we've kind of touched on all these things here, except for the accountability partner. I think that's very important too. Is to find somebody within your office that's going to hold you accountable, or maybe you set up some type of a contest with that person, so you can make the most phone calls, knock on the most doors, sign the most buyer reps, or sign the most listings, those types of things. So find that person that you can identify with, that, and especially is interested in what you're doing. Don't try to find somebody that, you know, they're super good at open houses and you're more of an introvert and you just like to make phone calls and stuff like that. Find somebody else that likes to make phone calls and do those competitions there. So accountability is huge there as well, you guys. I mean, we with Jason as our trainer, he's responsible for holding people accountable, and so we do have that, but we also you know, strive to help separate competitions going within the office, and it's healthy, you know. So
yeah. I love that. I love that we have different, I wanted to jump, I'm looking at our slide deck and I want to respect everyone's time. And I know new construction was cheating. I want everyone to hear Smitty. Let's start with Smitty real quick. Well, Smitty, I want to let you land it out because you're just so powerful. Let's do the new construction right now real quick and get that going for everybody. Sorry, Carly.
That's okay.
Go ahead. So new construction is something that you're really been involved with most of your career. Am I correct, Chris? And could you share a little bit?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
My whole career, I've been involved in new construction ever since day one. That's what I got into. I used to be in the concrete work and framing and those types of things before I got into real estate. But we have two builders that we work with primarily, and we represent different locations than in different suburbs, I guess, in Twin Cities metro area. So there's no crossover there really. So the builders can't get upset, you know, that you're doing one more than for the other. But we also, what was kind of neat too, Shelley, we had at our agent attraction event, we had a builder rep came in, and it's a national builder. And she came in and was very interested in what we're doing and wanted to talk to the agents. We're actually going to have her at the office because, as you guys know, national agents don't normally sell backup houses. You know, so she's very interested in referring that business to us. So that's one way to, you know, as far as, are you going to get a national builders listing? No. But is there a way you could be involved there and maybe bring business and collaborate with that agent? Absolutely. That's a great way to do it. And you'll find with those relationships, that everybody knows a referral is the best source of business that there is. So, I mean, definitely use those things.
So would you recommend an agent like identify 1 to 2 builders that they could go get in relationship with and be intentional? Because I have an idea as we're looking at this slide, because this is a deep subject, I think.
Yeah, we
We
could
could do
spend a
like
lot of time.
we could do a mini event just on new construction, how to build your business off new construction.
Right, yeah, so like, well, there's one builder that that I started back in the day and built probably around 1,200 houses for that builder I sold for. And another one with my brother's one of my builders now, we're probably 600-700 houses for him. And another builder that we have that a guy that I've known for a long time, you know, we're closing 2 to 3 a month for him, you know, which is good. Not exactly where we want to be with them. I mean, obviously our goals are probably around 80 transactions for new construction for that builder, and probably more around the 30 mark for my brother because he's more of a custom home builder. But it doesn't mean that you can't reach out to other builders, because let's face it, they're not great at marketing.
No.
They, you know, they're great at building, and if they have a great product, that needs to be put out there. So help them do that, and that business will just come.
Hey, Chris, Craig here. Can you elaborate a little bit more, like kind of on, I know there's different types of builders and different relationships, but you know, what is some of the value proposition that you bring to the builders that, you know, they would pick you or your team? Why would they work with your team over another team? Like, so I guess the question is, what's the value proposition that you might bring to a builder? Obviously sales, but beyond that, and what's different between maybe one builder to another, or is there a difference?
Well, yeah, all builders are different, and how you communicate with them. But the main thing that we bring to them is experience, knowledge of new construction. I mean, not all of our agents are all extremely well versed in construction. Like I've got, you know, five on our team that, you know, have worked in the trades and know construction, and they can talk about, you know, different types of building materials, those types of things. And we also have agents that are extremely good at open houses, where you don't need to have all that knowledge. And if they need to lean on somebody, where all of us are available for them. And also we always make sure our builders are available to those agents as well to answer questions or anything, because if you don't know it, just ask it. And you know, the builder appreciates it, and so does the client. So yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is the construction knowledge and how that process works from start to finish.
Chris, I had a question about the how are you marketing? Like, how are you showing value to those builders? Because, you know, builders are fickle. Like if the market starts to pull back a little bit, they immediately want to blame the sales team, and you know, they want to, like, they need someone to point to, and they're like, the other guy could do it better. You know, they're getting approached by other agents, I would think, or they see agents out there on their social media and they're like, that could we be working with them and could we get more results? So I'm just curious, how do you manage that with the builders?
With builders, I mean, staying on communication's key. I think when you're working with a builder and they get nervous, you know, they see other houses going up, or maybe they're just not doing enough transactions to keep them in the production where they need to be. Like if they're sitting on 5 or 6 models, you know, that gets costly, and they're you know, and that can really hurt the bottom line at the end of the year. So sometimes it's, you know, price improvements and things like that, or a different product, or different staging. There's many different things you can do to change that market that you have control of. There's a lot of things you can't control, but there's the things that you want to make sure that you're doing those things. But communication, Shelley, is key for sure.
Is a key. Because otherwise, what's not communicated gets perceived, right? And I think that's with everything, you know, when we're managing a transaction, when we're doing a couple of things. I wanted, let me just write this down so I don't forget. Hold on one second. Sorry, guys. I just want to write this down so I don't forget. I had an idea and I wanted to write it down. And I don't want to take us off topic. So with new construction, what doesn't get communicated gets perceived and sometimes not correctly, right? So if we're managing a relationship like that and there are 30, like what would be a good goal? I think like if you could make 30% of your business new construction, how many transactions that could lead to a year per agent. So like it's kind of like having someone working for you. When you have new construction, it's kind of like having a side business with your business, if you will, because they're going to be building the houses and it's kind of like, you're going to have these 5 houses that are going to close. And usually you can get a listing out of it on the list side. So it could turn into 10, 15, 20 transactions if you leverage that new construction properly. But without the right leverage, you're not going to get those opportunities some other agent will. Do you guys do build on your own lots as well, Chris?
Yeah, so a lot of times, so we don't see it as much as we used to. Before 2008, a lot of developments were bought up and they were exclusive to that builder. That hurt a lot of builders, and a lot of them went under because of it, because they got caught with a lot of inventory. Now what you see is a lot of spot lot building. So we'll build in several different developments, or if a client has a parcel of land, we'll build on that for them. We'll either do a construction contract or have it, quit claimed over to the builder. It all depends on how it needs to be structured. And we also have, we have exclusive developments as far as our townhouse product goes. We're the only builder in there. And those are great if you can get those, but it's really hard to find, unless they're national, it's hard to find a smaller builder to go in and take that risk anymore.
I have an idea. It may not be a good one. It's just an idea. But I'm thinking about this, and there's so many like pockets of this, like whether you're going to collab with a national builder rep, you're going to go hunt down land for the builder to build on, which can take more time. Like you've done that. I know you're a hunter. Like that's just a natural innate part of Chris is to find that land and get it developed, right? You've done lots of that. You've got like where you can go hunt down lots for the builders to build on and get them that opportunity, to create those. I'm almost wondering if there's an opportunity to build between the teams, something where we have a new construction group that meets once a month to share ideas and to like hold each other accountable. Like I'm going to go get this, like just to kind of, I think that could really add probably 10 deals per agent a year potentially. Go ahead, Lee.
With you and Chris' background, do you guys think you come up, because we're already 15 minutes over.
Oh, sorry.
Everybody's attention span's pretty short.
Yep.
So I'm wondering, could we do an hour class that the two of you guys put something together?
Yes.
These meetings, I think it would be beneficial.
Craig too. Craig's got a lot of experience. Yes, we'll do that. I think that's kind of what I wrote down was that. So we'll do a mini class, an hour meeting for that. And then let's let Schmitty round this up. But I'm thinking like how we could add that, and also the luxury side too, Lee. We could do something with that. We can do a lot. Like I think these meetings are super valuable. Go ahead, Schmitty. You're up. Well, Chris, introduce Schmitty because no one knows him yet.
Well, Schmitty is a guy that is a long time friend of our families are very good friends. Our kids went to school together, and is a really good friend of mine. And we've one day he just came to me and just said, "I'm going to get into real estate. I'm going to join your team." Well, I didn't have a team yet. I said, "You got to give me a little break here. I was looking for a director of operations." And he said, "Well, that's fine. I'm just going to go get my license and I'm going to join your team." So then I looking for this person, and all of a sudden, about a month and a half later, he shows up in my office. "Hey, I got my license. I want to be on the team." I'm like, "I'm not ready yet." And so, but he's been with me since. I've always had some type of a team system, but just really blown it up to an actual real estate team that works and collaborates together. As far as where before it wasn't what I was looking for. So yeah, he was the first agent on this team that it's been here. He's been the longest. Is always one of the top guys on the team, or top of person on the team. Not to offend you ladies, but yeah, he does a great job. He's great in front of people, extensive new construction background and just a great guy all around. So there he is, John Schmidt.
Well, there's another $20 I got to give him, I suppose, but Chris said, yeah, he was ready for me even when he didn't have a team. He just didn't know it. But my success this year didn't come easy. As you know, the Minnesota market was pretty slow. It was challenging for sure. In the 11 years I've been with Chris, this is probably one of the toughest years that I've had. But it was easy. I looked at my numbers at the end of second quarter and said, dude, you need to put your work boots on and really jump into your buckets that you're going to double down on or something. And I did that. Going back to the open houses was a big difference. I actually toured a few other brokerages, other agents, open houses, and found out kind of what they were doing. And surprisingly, they weren't doing anything. There was no engagement. There was, hey, how you doing? Come in, take a look around. And I didn't get anything out of it. And I'm like, wow, I did get something out of it. I need to be more engaged with the people walking through the door, even if they're representative or not. So saying hi, take a look around. But what I found, you guys, what's really important is giving them something of value. So, hey, is it your first time home buyer, second time? I give them a buyer's guide. Say, hey, I know you're in the first steps, but if you ever want to get serious and talk about it, take a look at this buyer's guide here and reach out, and love to be able to talk to you. That really stepped up my game. I think July, August, September, I was probably bringing in at least 1 to 2 new buyers, or at least having the conversation with the open houses. New construction too. I mean, even with our new construction models, when people walk in the door, give them something of value. I was giving them, not only knowing my numbers, but knowing the product. And once you do establish that relationship with an existing home buyer or new construction, you have to follow up. That was the other thing I wasn't doing. And I learned quickly that you have to follow up. Every year, starting in January, the phone is my biggest lead generation tool. So starting in January, every year I go through my phone and I start with the A's. I have over 2,000 contacts in my phone. And I'll start with A's, and I'll go, even if they weren't even real estate related and just a family member, hey, how you doing? How's the family doing? You remember a conversation, something triggers, how's Jimmy doing with his scholarship or whatever that was. So every year I go through and then I write down, they'll always come back. They'll always come and say, yeah, Schmitty, we're probably looking to maybe build or move or do something later in the year. Well, I write those down. And then when it comes to that third quarter and the second quarter, that's where my follow-up came in. Reaching back out to those people. And that's how December really got to my 10 closed or almost 12 closed transactions in December because of that follow-up. Not only that, but not being a secret agent, you guys. I got advertisements over a lot of urinals in the bars and restaurants around the committee. And I tell you what, that it gets my face out there. And I'm glad we went to digital because it got rid of a lot of the graffiti that was on my face in these places. But going to events and getting out there, I decided not to host, but sponsor a couple of different events in middle of the third quarter, whether it would be like 2 charitable golf tournaments that I just sponsored. I gave something of value to these people and I was recognized for that, which created conversation during. So 2 charitables, and I sponsored another golf thing, which sparked a lot of conversation and ultimately generated to a big December. So yeah, it was a ride. I heavily relied on Carly as my marketing director. I didn't do a lot of videos. I got a face for radio, but our transaction coordinator, Sherry, dumping my files on her so I could get out to keep getting out there and in selling was the biggest key. So kudos to my team, kudos to all the people that trusted me. And yeah, we'll see what happens this year. But you guys just don't be a secret agent, give something of value and follow up. That's what my success was, whether it was new construction and or existing.
It's awesome, Schmitty. You always have great energy. I love that about you. Um, so we're finishing up here. I'm going to put together one thing you're going to get from this is summary notes. As they're done, she's going to send them over. I'll edit through them and then get them out to everybody. They'll get emailed and I'll get to your team leaders and then they'll send it out to you as well in case they want to add anything to those notes. Also, work on this luxury and new construction meeting, and then we'll see where that goes. So we'll get that on the books and see when it's convenient or best for everybody. And if anybody has any ideas, want to share anything, like I love this, don't like that, we are totally open. All of us want to just the value. The reason we do this is to help everybody. So I really appreciate you coming, taking your time, and we're gonna go crush this week. This is our week, right? I'm